little late. Having issues with one of my phones. It just did not want to connect to the stream. In fact, it's still trying to load up, and I'm going to have to close that out. In fact, it's still showing up here in my studio. It won't let me kick it myself out. Oh, well. We'll leave that there until I can figure out what to do.
No worries. What's going on?
What's up, David?
Hey, what's up? Hey, chat. How you doing? What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me again on your show. So appreciate it.
See, Wellbore said good morning here anyways, but for you, that comment relates to you, right? You relate to that, right? Definitely morning for you.
Yeah, it's like 10:05. Yeah, so it is morning.
Bonaventure said he would be here for kickoff, hopefully. So I don't know if he lived up to that.
It looks like he's in here.
Got Wellbore, Lady Prime, Bottom Tier Collector. He's late. Go fig. No, I wasn't late. I was here. Just it was an issue with the camera. It just give me that little circle going around and around. I don't know if you could see it from the studio. I had that one. It just would loop and loop. It wouldn't connect. It was fine before I opened the laptop, and when I did that, and it may be because I have the PlayStation on. It may be having the Wi-Fi. So I went to my other phone that's not on Wi-Fi. Actually, let me make sure. I should be connected to the network here. Yeah. And then I've got my computer hooked up to a wired connection. So I'm not sure. I like to use the phone camera versus the versus my laptop camera, and even the webcam I bought that I hook up just doesn't come out as clear. You're looking like exceptionally clear. What are you using?
It's just like moisturizer, like facial stuff. You know, I got into some of my wife's like beauty products, so it's working. I mean, the mask is a little damp, but it works. So.
See, I gotta word my questions better.
And no, Neil, I am not wearing Lady Prime shirt. So.
Oh yes. Oh, look at Lady Prime. He's never prepared Bottom Tier Collector. Lucky the start of this deleted my comment. Wait, what? I deleted a comment? Did I skip over it? Or did it actually delete a comment? Bottom Tier says, I get to hang out on the couch and enjoy the show before I got to get ready. Love the new start time. Yeah, well, that's kind of my plan was if I go 2 hours, then it'll still give me the same amount of time to rest beforehand. And, you know, you being available, David, at least I can get you early enough in your day that you still have the rest of your day, you know, to do whatever you want to do or whatever you need to do.
Yeah,
David even has Lady Prime shirt on.
We'll see how that goes. Today's the last Monday that the kids are in school, so they're off of school.
You know what? That's true. I did tell Ollie. I was like, "You're going to be home after Wednesday night." So yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what's up. Yeah. Bore says Mountain Time. Neil, he's my man. If you can't beat him, no one can. Well, we're starting wrestling chants. The crowd is starting wrestling chants
already.
Yes, Lady Prime, he is never prepared. Wow. No, I was commenting, actually bad-mouthing you, fanboy. Oh, got you. Okay. And so you were in the middle of typing it up. So just a little, I guess, explanation why I didn't do the Saturday stream. And I forgot to mention it Monday, but we did go to the Ekman's Card, Comic, and Toy Show as a family. Lady Prime did pick up 2 new Macho Mans, which I was gonna post them, and I even told is his name Comic-Con? He made a post on Instagram. He highlighted that it was the 15-year, was it the 15-year or 12-year anniversary of Macho Man's death?
I believe it's like 12 to 13.
12? Okay.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
He posted something about that. And I was like, oh man, it just happened to be the day of the show, and I was like, well, Lady Prime picked up 2 Macho Mans. I'll share them in a post. But then I was like, well, I'm not going to share them. I'll wait. I'll let her do a haul video for the show, because she picked up art, she picked up T-shirts, and then she picked up 2 wrestling figures, or the 2 Macho Man figures. So I'll let her share those. I wound up picking up 37 comics. I was a little happy for myself. I was a little upset at the beginning of it because I couldn't find dollar boxes. Like, I really want to hit dollar boxes at this show. And thinking back on it now, there was a spot that had a whole bunch of the triangle numbers I need, but they were $3 books each. And I'm thinking I probably should have did it there. Like I would not have wanted to pay that much because I'd rather find them for $1. But if I'm going to wind up getting these books on eBay because I'm not able to find them at my local spots, I'm going to wind up paying more than $3 a book, I think. So we'll see. The show goes again in August, and that little seller was the guy who actually puts together the show. So normally he had been doing dollar books, and then this time he brought up some either he brought out higher price books or they were dollar books, but inflation bumped them to $3. So, oh man. Let's see. Let's hit the chat up one more time. No, I was comment no. So if Ollie is off school, is he going to want to play Fortnite? Yes. You can be his. I mean, not his babysitter. Yes, he'll get more time to play Fortnite. He will not get to play Fortnite this weekend because we have family coming in town. But maybe next weekend. Bottom tier collector, I wanted to bust my A to drop my WrestleMania 8 episode at your Saturday 8 a.m. slot, but the wife wanted to spend time Friday night. Wasn't meant to be.
I just
Well, Boris says hi to David and Neil. Sorry, had to drive a couple miles. What was that, David?
I said I just finished listening to his WrestleMania 8 review too before coming on here.
Yeah, I got a comment or notification. Now, did you post that in your was that a comment you left on his video, or was that in your community tab where you said you're about halfway through the video and you feel like the three of us need to get together and talk about this? What was that?
That was on my community tab, yeah. I was listening to it while doing dishes, and it is a very interesting review. So I was actually discussing it with Bottom Tier in Instagram chat before it came on. So some stuff.
Gotcha.
He made some comments where, and I told him this, like, how much of the backstory of the matches are you actually getting on these? Because there's some comments that he makes that I'm like, okay, he's not getting the full picture, or he might not be getting the full picture.
And that's kind of part of the problem. Like if you go back and watch a show that you weren't following the build up to, and we could apply that to comic books. You go and read a back issue, and like, okay, you can get what's going on, but there may be a comment, certain characters tell each other that was 20 issues back, and you don't have the full picture of it. So. Yeah, that's a good point.
Right, because he was really excited about Jake Roberts and The Undertaker. And I'm like, oh, if you would have known like what happened, like stuff that led up to that match, it was awesome. It was phenomenal. So, yeah.
Oh, the Jake Undertaker match?
Yep. The Jake Undertaker being a tag team, and it was fantastic.
How far do you go back when you say that? Are you mentioning how Jake turned heel?
Exactly, yeah. Because when
do you remember
when Taker was having that feud with Warrior in the summer of '91, and then Warrior left the company and Jake was left hanging, like they were gonna do a big program, but then that's when Undertaker Ultimate Warrior was trying to learn about the dark side of the Undertaker and how to deal with it, and he trapped him in that room with the snakes and the coffin and the cobra in the middle, right? And then
I'm gonna make you big. 1 second, tell that story. I gotta run real quick.
Okay.
No, wrong one. Hold on. Oh, there it is.
All right.
Yeah, hit that up. I gotta run real quick and I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. All right. So summer of 1991, the Warrior and the Undertaker were in a feud. Okay. Warrior was trying to learn about the dark side so he could take on the Undertaker, and he enlisted Jake Roberts' help in learning about how to deal with darkness and the dark side. And Jake put him through all these different tests, to kind of boost him up. And he locked him in a room filled with snakes, and in the middle was a box. And he opened the box, and it was a king cobra. Okay, so that's when Jake Roberts turned on Warrior, and joined up with the Undertaker. And then
I loved that back in the day, and I guess it kind of happened even kind of in the Attitude Era, but really back then, it wasn't like, I feel like nowadays you just start a program. Oh, the pay-per-view ends, that program ends, they're gonna start a program. But it was the story's transition, and so it went from Jake and Warrior, like you said, Warrior left, so it was done of necessity. But the story still progressed to where it was how it moved to Jake and the Undertaker. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, because this is right after, and I can remember, sorry, I keep interrupting myself and interrupting you, but I remember the episode of Superstars where Warrior got locked in the casket.
Yes.
And I'd gone to some baseball games that day. So this is 91. So I'm 10 at the time. I'm watching my cousin play baseball, but I'm hearing other kids and older kids than me talking about that happening on Superstars like it was real. Like they were like
Yeah.
really scared for the Ultimate Warrior. It's such I miss the days of wrestling being like that where we got suckered into it.
Yeah, they had all like the backstage guys, like the agents and all that, trying to bust open the casket. They had it with a crowbar and all that stuff, and they're trying to do like CPR on the Warrior. But it was such a great feud. And then it goes into right after Savage and Elizabeth got married, where Jake sent the Cobra as a wedding gift in the reception, and Jake and Undertaker are just sitting there taunting them. And then, oh man, if Flair had not come into the company at that point, things would have been much different. It would have been awesome. Because I was telling Bottom Tier that main event of WrestleMania 8 should have always been Jake Roberts versus Randy Savage for the title. It should have always been. Go ahead.
Even more so that, yeah, like you said, it was Flair hadn't come yet, but even when Flair arrived, they could have still did Flair Hogan, but that like was your big story. Like, and I felt like we never got the payoff. It was on a secondary pay-per-view, I think. It was a Tuesday night in Texas or something.
It was
the week after Survivor Series.
It was, and Flair was with the company at that time because they took the belt off of Hogan at Survivor Series, put it on Taker, just to get that feud going with Hogan. Like Flair cost him the belt, then Hogan cost Taker the belt. Or Flair cost Taker the belt accidentally against Hogan at Tuesday in Texas. So they vacated the title, and then they put it up for grabs in that Royal Rumble, and that's how Flair gets it. And then it's Flair versus Hogan, like going on from there. But eventually that turns back to Savage versus Flair. So and then you got the bite with the King Cobra. You know, you've got Jake Roberts slapping Miss Elizabeth, and you get a payoff that goes nowhere. All of that should have led to Jake beating Hogan at Survivor Series instead of Taker. And then going in through Tuesday in Texas, going in through Royal Rumble, Savage finally has to win the Royal Rumble to be reinstated. And then faces Jake at WrestleMania 8. That's the way, in my opinion, it should have played out. So,
it's funny because J80 Hobbies is in the chat, or at least he was, telling everybody good afternoon. I ran into him at the Ekman's Card Comic and Toy Show, and we were talking about when Jake's Cobra bit Macho Man on the arm, you know, and actually Lady Prime was talking with him about it, because she had just told him that she bought the Macho Man toy, and he's like, oh, you know, he's talking about Jake being his favorite, and Jake is his favorite. He's still here. And so he had the opportunity a few shows before that. Jake was there, and he got the opportunity to meet his favorite wrestler of all time, which is cool. But it was cool running into Jay. I got to the show after he did. He got there early. He stayed in San Antonio the night. We left a little later than I wanted to. And so I'm looking around, and I see this guy that looks like my old manager where I used to work. And I'm like, that kind of looks like Jay, but I don't know. So I was hesitant. We had kind of messaged on Instagram, so I didn't go up to introduce myself to him because I didn't want it to be the wrong guy. And then, you know what I mean? And but we saw each other, right? So then later on, I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna send him a message and I'm gonna go look at books and see if he responds. Well, that same guy comes up next to me, but he's on the phone. So I'm like, well, I think it's him, but I can't talk to him now because he's on the phone. And so then after that, I messaged him and he's like, where are you at? And I was like, oh, we're here. And sure enough, it was him. So we got to hang out a little bit and talk. The show was a little different this time. I feel like there wasn't as many sellers. And even Jay had messaged me that he felt there wasn't as much at this show this time around. And I had expressed to him I was hoping for more dollar sections. Now, I did find a whole bunch of dollar books, and I bought a bunch of $2 books. And then I got one $6 book, and I think that's about the most I spent on a book was a $6 book. I showed it off in an Instagram story, a YouTube short. I got All Star Squadron #1, so I was really excited to get that because I've been trying to look for that on eBay, but it's like $10, $12, $15, depending on who you want to buy it from. The one I got, the pages are a little, they're not white, they're a little off-white, little yellowed. But to me, that's part of the charm of an older book. So,
right.
Sorry, just wanted to relay that story of meeting Jay. It was pretty cool, and I'm sure I'll see him at a future one, and we'll try to connect and do a little bit more. And
Definitely.
and then I told Lady Prime after the fact, I was like, I didn't even get a picture with him, and so I messaged him like, dude, we didn't even take a picture, and he said, thinking about that now, you're right, we didn't. So, yeah. Wellbore says, got to leave the stream. My shop has zero service inside, like a giant Faraday cage. Okay, well, I appreciate you jumping in when you can, Wellbore. Appreciate it. All right, let me jump back into the chat before we discuss more. I don't know. You want WrestleMania 8 to be the topic, or?
Well, actually, I did some homework from the last stream that you said, and I watched Hogan versus the Genius a few times.
Oh, yes.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I've only watched DDP versus Goldberg like one time, and that was last Monday. So I got to watch it again to kind of get it fresh. But
see, yeah. So we'll push that one off because I'm thinking next week you and I will discuss DDP, Goldberg, and Eddie Ray because I didn't watch anything this week like I wanted to, and I was going to do it before the stream, but I needed to catch some sleep. So we'll push that next week. And the whole point of the DDP Goldberg match is it a great match or is it a good match? And then I kind of take the same stance. Is Eddie versus Ray a great match or a good match? Because I do remember, and I think it's a problem sometimes when a lot of people tell you a match is great, it's the greatest of all time, a match is this, because then you go into it and it doesn't live up to the expectations you have. So that's kind of worn off a little bit. So I need to rewatch that Eddie Ray match to see how I feel about it. Because it could have been a great match, but it didn't live up to that expectation. So automatically I kind of, downgraded it a little bit. So let me hit up the chat and then we will talk about Genius versus Hogan. And I used the phrase fruity last week. Maybe I shouldn't have said that because it kind of implies homosexuality, but it's not what I meant because it had nothing to do with his sexuality. It's just, I don't know, what would you call him? Because he's, moves around a lot like that. He's very extravagant in how he acts or whatever. He's very over the top, but just
flamboyant, very flamboyant.
There you go. Bottom tier says $3 run fillers is such a pet peeve for me. Dumb inflation. Like I said, I saw so many that I wanted to jump on, but I had to wait because it would have been like 10 or 15 of them times 3. That's either 30 or 45. So I didn't want to spend that much. 22 Comics was here. I did highlight that. What's good people? Neil Collect says, talking about wrestling, I've seen some highlight of Asuka. She's crazy, and the Usos and some other tag team with a guy with no shoes on and in trunks. I still don't know where he was hiding his junk because I could see no bulge. Why are you looking for a bulge? Brian was here. I did highlight that. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I have no idea really who Neil is talking about on that one.
I'm assuming he's either talking about or he's talking about Solo Sikoa. Is that how you say his name?
Maybe, yeah. Solo Sikoa, possibly.
He's a barefoot guy, right? With the Usos.
Yeah. Or Riddle. He might be talking about Riddle.
So I feel like Riddle can never be a top star because he doesn't wear shoes.
I think the opposite. I think Riddle's gonna be a top star. I think Riddle's the guy where if he wasn't getting in trouble, he would be the guy. So he could be in that position.
Bottom tier says something interesting. He says that Jake may be the only wrestler who's a fantastic heel that he prefers as a babyface. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I got enough of heel Jake. And I know he was a heel towards the beginning of his WWF run. I didn't see much of that. When I was introduced, It was Jake versus $1 Million Man. And so I thought they were mortal enemies because this is the feud I was introduced into. So it's always Hogan Savage. I mean, I kind of came into wrestling around that time. Hogan Savage was like, I felt like they were mortal enemies. Jake and $1 Million Man, and then Boss Man and Akeem was one of the feuds I kind of walked into.
Right.
And so I felt like these guys were mortal
enemies. Curtain pulled back for you, and you realize it's like they're all riding down the road and all that stuff. They're
yes. So. Bottom tier says someone who was old enough at the time it happened, not wanting Hogan as the main event. I will say 1992 was around the time when I started souring on Hogan, where I, just as a personal, in my personal fandom, was kind of, I'm tired of this guy always being the one to pose at the end. And I didn't understand because, you know, how was Hogan not the bad guy after he eliminated Sid at the Royal Rumble? And so that always bothered me. Why was he the face at the WrestleMania main event at WrestleMania 8? So
because he was Hogan. He was Hogan.
Hogan must pose at the end of the show.
Yep, they were.
I did have a discussion with Bottom Tier about that they did he didn't like the idea of the double main event because, and I don't know if he pointed out in his video, but this is just me and him conversing on Instagram, that it was, you know, he felt like it was Hogan weaseling his way to the last match, and I mean that may be true.
Well, it was all about Hogan's farewell match. That was supposed to be his last one. So if it's Hogan's farewell match, it's gonna go on last. They can't put the WWE Championship like on last as if it's being touted as Hogan's farewell.
Yeah. Bottom tier, did you ever watch that Goldberg match, guys? We will cover that next week. Oh, he said, okay, question answered. I'm terrible. Hogan versus Warrior and Jake Roberts versus Taker are two matches I overhyped in my head. And you can't do that.
No, you can't. Plus, there were different circumstances with Jake and Taker. Like, that was Jake's on his way out. And this goes back to, you got to, like, if you know what's happening backstage, it kind of hurts what's happening in the match. And I didn't realize it until years later, too. But Jake was holding up the company, kind of the same as Warrior did, because he was promised a job. He didn't get it. And he felt like Vince lied to him. So that wasn't the full Jake Taker match that we should have gotten. Jake just didn't give a shit. And sorry for cussing, sorry. But you know, it could have been more, but there were circumstances happening that just led it to being less than what it
was. Finding out later that Jake was on his way out, you know he's going to do the favors, but he's got to look weak, and Taker has to look almighty strong. And so, and that's another thing. Sometimes what's going on backstage does affect what happens in the ring. So we don't get to see, like, our dream matches, you know, they don't get to play out the way we want because there's a bigger story that needs to be told. And this character needs to be elevated while this guy needs to be stepped down at a point. Neil says, back to my comment that got overlooked. Oh, did I overlook something? My take on wrestling these days has changed so much since the Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man in a bad way. I mean, this happens in comics all the time because things change. Even movies, things change. It's not what you fell in love with when you first started. And it's either you have to learn to appreciate what you have, and you know, and I don't want to say kind of change your perception or change your expectations of what it is, but I mean, if you never forget your first love, and so you always compare it, you know, 80s wrestling, the style of wrestling they did, a lot more happens nowadays in the ring. You know, it's far more athletic, a lot more is happening, but then you'll always tell yourself, well, they're not selling, they're not working the way these guys should, and it's like, that still needs to be a part of it. And yes, that's true. Maybe they don't sell and do that as much. They're not telling the same story, but they're also doing amazing things in the ring, and they're telling their own story. And so I get it, Neil. I do. This was the word I was looking for. Eccentric. Thank you, Bottom Tier. Yes, flamboyant and eccentric. I would definitely use that as a way to describe the genius. 22 says no shoot, no shoes, no shirt, no bulge, no service.
Well, apparently Riddle's bulge is all over the place. So
Yeah, I know. I don't know why, but when I watch Tyrus, Funkasaurus Rex, Andre, or Big Show, I have to force myself not to look for a bulge. Big dudes and leotards is a sin. What in the world is going on? My last Saturday morning stream was all nipples, and this this Monday stream is all bulges. Neil says men have to have some sort of bulge. Even in a black bulge, he has nothing. Oh, even a back bulge, he has nothing.
Okay.
Mike is in the chat. Hey, fanboy. Hey, David. All right.
Hey, well, Mike. Neil, do go on the internet right now and Google Matt Riddle's junk. You will find more information than you will want to know on it because it's all over the place now, at least all over Twitter. So, you know.
Jay's right. We did get a heel Jake in WCW. It did not last long. I do remember the episode when was it Saturday night? Either WCW Saturday night or WCW main event when Jake popped up out of the crowd and attacked Sting. Like that, man, one of those moments that your fandom is like, oh, this was awesome.
And then you get that coal miner's glove match where he basically has to.
They didn't rig the wheel. They didn't rig the wheel.
No.
Bonature says, Neil collects my opinion is that wrestling these days is all about athleticism and spots that get crowd reactions. It's much more exciting to watch, but it's not really true wrestling. And I can say that. Me and Lady Prime talk about this often, and David disappeared. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, sorry. My wife called. I'll be right back. I got to jump out. I'll be right back.
Okay, cool.
All right.
So Neil, Bonature says, in my opinion, wrestling these days is all about athleticism and spots that get crowd reactions. It's much more exciting to watch, but it's not true wrestling. Lady Prime and myself talk about this all the time because on the indie scene, you're not telling a story to a crowd that constantly sees you. You're doing a spot here, a spot here, a spot here. And so you are trying to get the crowd reactions. You are trying to win over the crowd and make the crowd have the best show they've seen. So yes, like, wrestling works like that in the live environment. On TV, where you're trying to tell stories, I think that's where AEW is kind of having problems because, as you said, it's not true wrestling. It's not telling a story. You're not building up and building onto things. Alex Big Blue in the chat. Awesome. And now my computer's working slow. Prime David, bottom tier, Evil Brian. Awesome. Hope you're having a good one, Alex. All right, everybody telling everybody hello. Neil collects bottom tier. To me, wrestling these days is like someone running around on speed. It was way too much. Yes, it's all about showmanship, but really, wait, David gets to cuss. I want to cuss. For me, they're just missing really good storylines. I agree. I think that for me is what it is. Give me good storylines. Something entertaining. The Attitude Era was great with storylines, and then as it got towards the tail end of the Attitude Era, it's like they ran out of ideas for storylines, and so then you have Chris Jericho and Kane feuding over a cup of coffee that he spilt on him. Like, give me something more than that. Bottom tier says, Neil collects, when I watched night one of WrestleMania 39, I saw like 3 submission holds over a 3-hour span, literally. It was interesting to note how far wrestling has changed. Mike says, no word of mouth to bring in non-wrestling fans. No word of mouth to bring in non-wrestling fans for my stream or for wrestling itself. Nips. Yes, I know. I know Nips. 25 Perez TTM is in the chat. Neil collects, I see it as more of a show rather than entertainment wrestling these days. And that's my knock on WWE. I do not enjoy the overproduced product because it is more of a TV show than a wrestling show. Bottom tier says, Neil collects, that's the vision McMahon had when he bought WWF in 1982. He knew the way to grow wrestling was to give the fans what they want to see. Alex Big Blue says, I still watch a lot of WWE and I still dig it for the most part. The pay-per-views are always fun. I agree with that. Like, I cannot watch Raws because they don't entertain me the way they used to. But I will watch the pay-per-views. So, yeah. Also, I've been reading a bunch of the original run of the New Warriors, which is good, by the way. Oh, nice. I've heard good things, and I've heard like various people talk about that New Warriors run. I was a 90s kid reading 90s comics, but the New Warriors was maybe a book I picked up here or there when it had a shiny cover. But I don't remember ever reading it. I do remember owning Night Thrasher #1. I remember owning Thunderstrike #1. Those shiny covers. But New Warriors, I don't believe I read much of. New Collect says, why is my computer running slow? It's weird. The Uso match is the one where Thingy came in and helped them. Then that was not enough to entertain people. They all had to start slamming each other into the commentator's desk. Welcome back, David.
Sorry about that. So,
no, you're good. You're good.
My wife had to go take a
Alex Big Blues
drug test for her new job. So,
oh, got you. Alex Big Blue says he's prepping for my top 10 New Warriors video. I guess he's been planning. So fantastic. Nice. Yeah, if you guys have a video you're putting out soon, or you just posted, feel free to throw it in the chat. Do not be afraid to advertise yourself. Neil collects. That's way too much. Then that camera pans to a child crying. It's just stupid. For wrestling and the stories. Got you. I got you. Yes, they do need to do a better job of bringing in non-wrestling fans. I think this was the reason Stone Cold Steve Austin versus his boss resonated with so many people, because it was a story that transcended wrestling. It was a story as old as time. You hate your boss, you know?
But you can't do, I don't know, like so much stuff is going on right now, like out in the world. Like, where are you going? How are you going to do that now? You know, like what? Because you got corporate sponsorships, you got to face like social media, you know, fans on social media complaining and all that backlash over stories that could be epic and bring in money, but you can't really.
But everything hurts somebody's feelings.
Yep.
Everything hurts somebody's feelings. You like when what was it when Rusev was a bad guy and they put Putin's image up there, and it's like, oh, like it's a character, and it's just a character playing on TV. But once again, that idea that wrestling blurs the lines between fake or fiction and reality, it's like everybody got upset about it. And I'm like, dude, no, it's just a story. Let the story be told.
Yeah. Let them
Manny, the Hobgoblin Collector in the chat. Good afternoon, everyone. Manny, I must say, I was so tempted to fall down the Hobgoblin rabbit hole at this trip. I saw so many amazing Spider-Man Hobgoblin books. I behaved, but I might not next time. So we'll see. Cole's Comics claims #fanboy cheated. And then right on cue, Super Russ 9000. Hey guys.
Yeah.
So me and my big mouth, right? Do you want to clue everybody in case they didn't see it?
Yeah. So if you go to my channel like a few videos ago, I can't remember when I did it. Was it like last Wednesday? I think I did a tournament to crown a King of the Ring, and it was Super S 9000. It was Neil. It was Brian LCS. It was
Shane
was in there. Yes, Shane show. It was A Surfer. It was Freedom Sufferer cards.
There we go.
It was Kyle.
Oh, Kyle. Yeah, wheelchair superhero.
87. Yep, absolutely. So it was a tournament, and spoiler alert, Super S 9000 won it. So his character won the King of the Ring tournament. And it was you, Family Prime, who was like, what? Are they gonna who wanted to put the title on the line that say or made the suggestion?
You said you were going to keep damage retention on, so I was like, "Oh, I want to face the winner right after the tournament. That way, they're all weak, and I'm full strength. You know, classic heel."
But
that's not what you did.
That way. Nope. so we got a new ECW champion now, Super S 9000. So, congratulations!
It's fantastic. So, yeah, I put that video on, and I was in and out watching it, but I was listening to it for sure. And I want to say I saw like a thumbnail and it showed like Super Russ holding the belt. And I was like, no, I think that's my outfit. I think that's my, like, he may have updated the outfit. So I didn't know for sure. But as the tournament progressed and it got closer and closer to Super Russ at the end, I was like, I think this is not going to end the way I want it to.
See, that's what I
So
don't
it's
like about doing
fantastic.
live streams off of PlayStation. I can't choose the thumbnail. I have to wait like
Got
24
yeah,
hours to go in and edit it. By that time, they
yeah.
throw whatever they want. Oh man.
Bottom tier says my perfect world, All Japan Pro Wrestling in the 90s. Oh, my perfect world, All Japan Pro Wrestling in the 90s would have leaned all the way into American theatrics outside the ring while still treating wrestling as a sport in the ring. That's perfect wrestling to me. Okay, I got you. I want more supernatural elements in it, but then I say that like because I like the Ultimate Warrior and I like the Undertaker. My dream match is I have them on tape wrestling, but my dream pay per view match, with all the bells and whistles, Undertaker versus Ultimate Warrior, or Undertaker versus Evil Doink with all the bells and whistles. And I don't feel like I got either match because I did get Ultimate Warrior versus Undertaker. I think it was a body bag match. So when I read about the body bag match, in my head, it was kind of like the blindfold match. I'm like, what are these guys in a body bag and they're wrestling each other? Q2, oh, just the loser gets placed in a body bag. It's not as exciting.
No.
But make sure to vote Hobgoblin for Alex Blue survey. All right, we'll have to do that. Not hitting the. What it do, comic fam? Villains Unite. Happy Monday. E-Man's World of Geek. How's it going, E-Man? Neil Collect says, I'm back putting content out, but I'm limiting my content rather than a video a day. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, Neil. I think you can get burnt out doing that. Me not doing the live stream on Saturday morning, like I missed it. And I was tempted to have Lady Prime just turn the camera on while I was driving to the show and I could talk and she would just be the star. But then I think it was Manny. If it wasn't Manny, maybe it was Chop. I'm not sure. Someone said, dude, have fun with your family this weekend. Just, do your thing. Don't worry about it. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, let me make it. Let me make it a family thing. So I don't even think I released a video on Friday. My plans were to still release a video on Friday and Sunday. And I said, no, you know what? I hung out with the family and we did that. No need to stress to try to put a video in or out. And I've got videos saved up, but I want to keep those as a Tuesday release. It was Manny. And so there was no episode of I've got the runs this week. It'll come out, it'll pick up again next week. So it was kind of good to step away. It was so good to step away that I was tempted to not do the stream today. I told Lady Prime, I was like, man, I just feel not that doing the stream is stressful or anything. It was just the laziness that hit me. And I was like, man, I could not do it today and I'd be all right. But I felt like last week's stream was fantastic. I didn't want to lose the momentum. Wanted to carry on with the stream. And then I was thinking, like, here I am. I'm not going to, I told David, hey, you want to do it weekly or whatever when you can? And then I'm going to back out the first week we discussed it. So
I
do
it's
think
on your schedule. So, if you decide you want to take the time off, of course, take the time off by all means.
But I agree with you. I think limiting content helps you not get so wrapped up in it too. Yep. Release so many videos and you're like, why is this one not performing the way it won't? Why is this one not performing the way it is? I was on a string at the beginning of the year where I was hitting 100 views per video, and now I'm like 50, 57 is kind of like where my bread and butter seems to be. But then I get Lady Prime in the t-shirt video and it gets 112 views. So maybe I need more tits. I don't know. But so if I keep pushing it out and I keep getting that number, then that's fine. But then I kind of worry that, I need more. So I don't know. It's just that whole idea of not wrapping yourself in it and releasing at your own pace and being happy with what you put out, I guess is kind of what I'm talking about. I know that you went through a patch, and I thought about this too, that you went through a patch a couple months ago or weeks ago. I'm not sure how long back it was, that you weren't putting out any content, right?
Right. Yeah. I wasn't putting out any content. I was barely watching, because
you weren't even in live streams. That's right. Because I told Lady Prime, I was like, the last time I saw David, he was in one of my streams, and I don't know if I said something that offended him. So I would send you a message. Yeah. I would send you a message on Instagram just to see how you would respond. And I think you sent me and this was not like I think it was a short message you sent me, and I was like, oh, dude, I did tick him off. Like,
No.
but it was just the whatever I asked only required a short answer back. So just one of those things where like you create the dragon in your own head. So I was building this thing up, and I was like, and then you mentioned something about it on your community tab or something. I was like, oh, okay, that's just what he's doing. So yeah.
Yeah, it just became a lot trying to do videos on like almost every day at the time frame that I have, because I don't have a lot of time to put out content or even watch, to be honest with you. Like I've got that little window where I'm awake at like 4 a.m. until I have to clock in, to do whatever I want to do YouTube wise. So that's when I try to post everything. But yeah, between that work, the type of work that I was doing, which I'm still doing the same work, but I'm in a different position now, where I'm not getting yelled at or cussed at like every single day. I'm still taking calls and everything, but now it's more helping people, like it's helping like people with disabilities and stuff like that, do things, and they're more pleasant and they're more appreciative of what I'm doing than the other position that I had. So now,
was the other position customer service where people are calling with complaints? They're not looking for help, but they're looking to complain. Gotcha.
Exactly. So now,
Manny wants me to jump into the rabbit hole because he needs a tag team. Manny, I may do that, and because it could create interesting content. So
go for it.
Volunteer says you should have, Neil. You should have learned from Super S 9000's video day series. That's extremely hard work. I kind of wanted to do the video day series, but I was going to count shorts as part of my videos a days. But even then, sometimes you forget that you were trying to do it. You're like, oh, I need to go put one real quick. And then, yeah, it's not going to take me long. And then 45 minutes later, I'm like, now it's time for bed, when it should have been time for bed that previous 45 minutes. Cole's Comics claims, if I didn't win the King of the Ring, someone cheated. Super S 9000 and your new DCW champion. So, yeah, fantastic. Well-deserved champ. I went on a pretty good run of defeating everybody. So I got to say, it was time for a title change. There's Cole, been missing you around these parts lately. Yeah, I'm missing. I need a Cole and a Bearded cover challenge. Has there been one that I just missed? Neil says, talking about wrestling and showmanship, when me is handicap match against Russ and Cole, I want to show them who the oh, that's right. There was some trash talk in the live chat. I did see that. When is
coming sooner than you think, Neil?
Everybody telling everybody hi. I'm gonna skip those, not because I don't care what you guys say. It's just I got to get ahead. I'm so far behind. Shame we never got Taker Warrior as it should have been. I agree. Or Prime Crow Sting versus Taker. I'm gonna say this, and I know this is probably wrestling blasphemy. I never got the idea of Crow Sting versus Taker. Like that match never interested me at all. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think it's more has to do with WCW versus WWE than Sting versus Taker. That's what
Sid is here, Six Space. Morning, fellas. How it goes? It's going good. Bottom Chair says, burnout is real for me and my WrestleMania series. I just want Hogan to end. I never grasped how long he was on top until this series. Well, see, and this is part of the reason why I want to talk to you about your WrestleMania series at the end of it, because this you're doing WrestleManias 1 through 10, and a good chunk of it is the Hogan show, and then you're going right through the transitionary period right there with 10, where no Hogan, and right after that WrestleMania 11, which I know he's not covering, but that's the first WrestleMania where you don't have Hogan, Savage, or Warrior. Three big names that were around, that whole time frame, that whole buildup. In fact, I think 11. Well, you still had Brett, who was there at WrestleMania 2, but most of the big 80s names are gone by that point, other than King Kong Bundy makes a return to the company. And so, but yeah, for the most part, it's the new generation. So he's watching the Hogan show, and then that last WrestleMania where it transitions away from that.
Yep, you got Backlund as well at WrestleMania 11. He's there too. So.
Oh, that's right. Brett's least favorite WrestleMania match. Fanboy really thought about moving it to Thursday to mess with me. I still may move it to Thursday, and I think you won it on Thursday 22. I did think about doing the Saturday morning stream, the Saturday morning stretch on Thursday, and then it just I I got terrible sleep last week because of going to training. So when I came back for Wednesday, my schedule was flipped around. I had to go work at Wednesday night. I didn't sleep at all. I woke up at 7 that morning, got Ollie to school, and I didn't sleep at all that day before going to work. Maybe 15 minutes if I did. And so Thursday, it was all about catching up on sleep. Getting out of the habit of streaming is easy and can keep you from building. I agree with that, Sid. Jay says he's got to go. Have a great day, everyone. Jay, appreciate you being here. I know that you're so far behind in the chat that you've probably gone for a while, but yeah. I'm hitting 160 plus for WrestleMania episode. Why? Because that's your bread and butter. And I told you you're the best you're my favorite wrestling channel out there. I care more about my Wolverine reviews, and that's at the bottom where I belong. Oh man, alive. E-Man's World of Geek says, yeah, I'm stuck not being able to make content. I can only commit to Tuesdays, but since I'm on the West Coast, most of the country is already ready to wind down for the night. That's how I feel about my schedule. Like, I'm early, and I don't get some of the later times where I'll jump in the chat, and I'm like, man, there's 30 people here, and it's like 12, 13, 14, 15 is like good for me. And what I mean by good for me is like the big number that I draw at this time slot. And I know I could reach more people, but it's just a lot of people are at work during this time frame. So I am envious that I don't have the opportunities for later.
Yep. And that's another part of the reason why I took a break too, because I started finding myself getting frustrated with like, hey, Trev, not being able to participate as well as much as I wanted to because I'm on the West Coast. You know, I'm in like the Arizona time, kind of same thing. Because you got people like Gary B. You've got who is it? It's Only Slabs. You know, all that stuff is on that I like. People like watch, and the shows that I want to watch and stuff are on at a time where I'm eating dinner.
Not convenient for you.
Yeah, getting the kids ready for bed, or I'm out doing stuff on the weekends, and there's just no time to catch up on like hour-plus shows to try to catch up. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why am I sitting here with my phone to my ear trying to listen instead of watch? And I'm just like, this is just starting to get too much. So, you know, that's kind of like another reason why I kind of took a break. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm just going with the flow. If I can attend, I can attend. If I can't, I can't. It's just the point, you know.
When I first got Netflix on the PS3, not the DVD service, but the actual, you know, digital, Lady Prime and myself built this queue, and I was stressing myself out because I was getting so far behind on my queue. I was constantly adding stuff to it.
Yep.
And I thought about it one day. I was like, dude, why am I stressed out about something that's supposed to bring entertainment to me? And it's just like, no, if I don't get to watch it, I don't get to watch it. So, and I mean, I was put anything that looked interesting, I added to my queue. And so that was one of my lessons, that like, you can't let things that are supposed to be fun stress you out. It gets ridiculous. I want to highlight Sid's comment. I had a 1,500 view short this last week. So that short I released yesterday, I got a comment on it. It was from Neil, and I was like, oh, okay, finally, like that short has gone into rotation. And then so I went to go click on that short, looked at the analytics on it. It had 3 views, and 2 of them were me, and 1 was Neil's. And I was just like, what in the world? Like, shorts are so funny. You can release it, and no one sees it. It doesn't get any play or nothing like that. I think even this morning, almost 12 hours later, 14 hours later, it had 17 views.
Nice.
And so, yeah, shorts are funny. I don't know. But a 1,500 views short, fantastic.
They're so fun to do because you get to like do your video, and then you get to choose what music you get to try to match it up with a cool song or like something. They're super fun to do.
I had a different song selected for that All-Star Squadron #1 video I did, and I was like, this song just doesn't go with it. Like, as much as I want it to fit, like, it doesn't go with it. So I just put music from I think Black Adam on there.
How do you not go with All-Star from Smash Mouth?
See, and I thought about that. I was like, someone's gonna say I should have just if I had put the song I originally had on there, someone would have put that in the comments. Like, you missed the boat, you missed it. This should have been what it was. 22 says, since we are talking videos, going live tonight, adding another book to the hopefully monthly giveaway. Dropped the mystery box video yesterday. New episode of Comic and Comics podcast out today too. 22, what is this episode about? Because I know your last one was about Guardians 3 with spoilers, so I didn't listen to that one. I still need to go watch Guardians, which I should have did this past weekend, but we'll see when I can do it.
Guardians.
E-Man says, recording is tough for me, but when I can get something up, I do my best to have it produced as well as I can. If I can't be consistent, then I'm going to try make my videos as pretty as possible. Yes, I agree with that. It's a balance between consistency and quality.
Yep.
Let's see. At 22 Comics, if I can pop in live on lunch, I will, man. Oh, okay. Yeah, tonight, right? Okay, I think I'm pretty much caught up with the chat. At 22, it was vid showing the pop-up lake terrarium in California. Bottom tier says, knowing what I'm thinking I know about Vince and how he treats guys he didn't build up, Vince would have embarrassed and disrespected Sting anyways. I mean, that
was his main concern too. That was Sting's main concern too. That's why he never did it prior to what WrestleMania was it? Where it was Sting versus Triple H.
Oh yeah, because he always said something about like The Rock saying something about Booker T, like who are you, like
yeah,
and he's like Booker T's supposed to be one of your stars. Everyone seems to want to stream on Saturday mornings. Look, I just saw Neil. What is this? I feel like you're stabbing me in the back. Neil, I just saw an open slot and I took it. And then I stepped on Cat Fan Comics Man's feet. But I will always tell the chat, go check out his video, his premiere first. I will still be here. I'm not a big fan of live streams. I'd rather put a video out. See, I'm a bigger fan of live streams than the videos, just because it's a lot less work. Well, I'm in my underwear right here. You guys can't see. So I don't even have to get dressed up for it. I'm kidding, by the way. I'm kidding. I'm not in my underwear. I need to do like David and stream before sunrise. Only the real ones will be in those chats. Bottom tier is so convinced that he has to have the fewest amount of people possible. I think he's afraid of success.
Well, a 4 a.m. time slot is a great place to get as few people as possible. Because you can start doing a chat, like a live stream, and if you don't plan it or anything, and you will be sitting here talking to yourself, reviewing Anna Jay versus Julia Hart. So it'll go off the rails really quickly.
22 knows what it's about. I like lives because I don't have to edit, but time slots are getting tough. Look, this is what I'm going to say about time slots. Put it out whenever you want. No one owns the time slot. You provide the alternative entertainment for them. But with that said, you can't get upset if only 4 people show up, 5 people show up, because you know you're running your time slot the same time someone else is. But no one owns the time slot. No one owns it.
What time you do a show, Chop and Drop is guaranteed to have a screen open to show up. So
that's true.
Like in his little bat cave of computer monitors. However he does it, he'll be there.
How do you compete with joining Fanboys Live? He never stops talking. Look at Brian's 411 for proof. I'm sorry. I keeps catching myself while David's talking. I'm sorry. Sorry about it, tier, but I'm not that real. I'll hit a replay though. Shots fired, Neil. Whoa. Brian's community schedule was a great idea. Yeah, I did notice that. And some of you guys may not be in our group chats, but I think he said he included it on the Comic Book Community Awards link. There is a spreadsheet thing or whatever with everybody's live on it. So the Monday Headlock made it on there too. So
nice.
And it just happened to be that we named that show that last week. I named it the Monday Headlock instead of just the Monday Hangout, and he included it on there. So fantastic.
It fits.
All right.
The Monday Rest Hold. So.
All right. So there's still some chat to catch up to, but I'm going to go back to, oh, here we go. Fanboy is comparing his bulge with Riddles. That's why he's in his undies.
Neil.
Bulges and nips.
Obsessed with Riddle's bulge.
Bulges and nips, man. I'm telling you.
Riddle's bulge, Jennifer Aniston's nips.
You did watch the Genius versus Hulk Hogan match then?
I did, yes. Yes, I watched
How
it.
many times? You said you watched it a couple of times?
I watched it 2 times today and 1 time last Monday after the show. So
Did I build it up too much? Because we just talked about the idea of building up a match too much. You know, I talked about it being in my greatest Hulk Hogan matches of all time. What are your thoughts on that match?
I think it was one of more the Genius's performance than a Hogan match. And now, mind you, like I have not really watched many Genius matches because Genius in my growing up with wrestling, he was the manager of Mr. Perfect. He was the manager of the Beverly Brothers. So I never really went back and watched Genius matches. Um, so this was the first one in decades that I had watched. So, but Genius is a character who I think like watching him. If he was around today, I think he would have been more over
Your
than
favorite?
so he would have been awesome because they had something there with the Genius where they could put, say, the Intercontinental Championship on him, and he would deserve it. He's a good worker, but he would also have his Genius gimmick where he could outsmart everybody and hold on to that championship for years. You know, they couldn't do it at that time because you had Savage
Yeah.
the Intercontinental Championship. You had Hogan as the WWE champion. The wrong people, the wrong place, the wrong.
You're cutting in and out a little bit.
Oh, okay. Is that better?
Is your mic hitting the mask or anything?
I don't have a mic.
Yeah. Okay.
I got to get closer. So, you know.
Oh, okay. Oh, got you.
Yeah, I just think the Genius was in the wrong era.
I love the way they built that. I love the way that the commentary is done during that match. That Genius can't beat Hogan with brute strength.
Right.
He can't. You can't beat him with brute strength. And so every little thing he's doing, his flamboyant, his eccentricness, is to get into Hogan's head.
Yep.
And Hogan plays it perfectly because he's frustrated at one point. He's frustrated. And like they tell a great story. Plus the Genius is just making me laugh. The cartwheel in the middle of the match. Doing the cartwheel in the middle of the ring, in the middle of a match. I can't stop laughing. He's going to celebrate every victory he has. And then he's prancing around. Just everything is done to get in Hogan's head. Great story. Great story told in the ring. Great match. Absolutely loved it. And I've said this before. I said it last week. The crowds that were at Saturday night's main events, I think, rivaled even their pay-per-view crowds. That crowd was electric. I don't know what it was about that. Because wrestling back then was a lot of squash matches. You know, your wrestler versus some jobber, and maybe the last match on the show would be two named wrestlers going at each other. But so now you're getting a whole show where it's basically a mini pay-per-view because they weren't running pay-per-views monthly like they do now.
Right.
And the crowd is just going crazy. So I'm going to repost that in my community tab. If you guys haven't seen what we're talking about, I'm going to post it at the conclusion of this video. It's the Genius versus Hulk Hogan. It's from Saturday night's main event. I believe it's for the WWF title. Hogan is the champ at the time.
It is.
I think it's before WrestleMania 6. Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't know. I'm sitting there with a smile on my face the whole time because I'm laughing at the Genius, but then I'm amazed that this great story is being told. Like I said, Hogan plays it perfectly. He's the frustrated guy. He's taking on someone who he should beat in like 2 or 3 minutes. It should be no sweat off his back, and yet he's getting flustered by this guy. And so, I really, really, really enjoyed that match.
And when Genius goes to the outside, grabs his scroll, and
Manny the Hobgoblin director says,
when Genius goes to the outside, grabs his scroll, starts writing down the formula to beat Hogan. That was hilarious. That was great. The moonsault that he did.
So, Oh, yes. Well, I mean, that was his gimmick before. He was leaping Lanny Poffo. He was a high flyer. He could do things that no other wrestlers can. And if you know some of the backstage stuff he could do certain things that no other wrestler can. But I'll leave that alone. The Genius character would transition years later, not played by Lanny Poffo, but there would be a character who kind of picked up the reins of the Genius character. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Oh man, in WWE,
Yeah,
I can't think of it.
he won a Money in the Bank.
I cannot think of it.
About Damien Sandow.
Oh yeah, okay, yes. I remember
Damien Sandow,
Damien
like, because he
Sandow.
was just smarter than everybody, and like I really enjoyed Damien Sandow. Like when he cashed in and didn't win, like I was upset, I was devastated. I thought he was a great character. What was his tag team with Cody Rhodes? The Rhodes Scholars.
Rhodes Scholars, yeah. And then he had that amazing team with the Miz, where he was the Miz's stunt double. Fantastic. Yeah.
Yes.
But I forgot he won.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I completely forgot he won Money in the
Yeah.
Bank. I don't remember that.
Going back to the Genius, people always point out that his music should have been Macho Man's music. The Pomp and Circumstance, the graduation music should have been the Geniuses. And I'm like, that's a really good point. It really should have been.
Yeah, I can see that.
Manny's. Go ahead.
I can see that. Yeah, that was a great point.
Yeah. Manny says, re-upload the short, different hashtags, titles, and emojis. I've gone through this period where I'm not even putting hashtags on it because I'm not even sure that it matters. Like, I don't know. Because one of the ones I did, it was a Superman one, no hashtag. It's like a 3,000 view one. And I'll do hashtags and, I'll still get like a 20 view one or whatever.
Yep.
Bottom tier says, Instagram stories are easy for my outdated mind to comprehend than YouTube shorts. I don't know how to do YouTube shorts like I want.
Pretty much the same.
This is how you do it. Yeah. You just edit your video, however you want. You go to your editing program, which I think you use the same one I do, which I can't think of the name right now. Power Director. Go to your Power Director. Make a video that's under a minute. Make it 15 seconds, however you want it. If you want the music to play 15 seconds, make your video that. Upload it. Add the music. You're done. If you want to add your own music to it, a minute long, you edit it however you want. You do your fades and cuts however you want in your video, and it's the same thing as doing a regular cut video. And you just, instead of upload, you click the same thing, hit that plus button, and you're not uploading a video, you're uploading a short. So it's relatively easy. I say it like as if I knew how to do it right away. Obviously I had to stumble to figure all this thing out myself. 22 says my shorts analytics. Say that again.
What matters more with YouTube Shorts and Instagram, I think, is the song choice than anything else.
Yeah. I think if I choose an off the wall song, it's going to be a lower viewed video. But if I pick a song that the kids listen to now, yep. Something I don't know, some garbage that I don't know, that I'll probably get more views.
Yep.
22 says his short analytics are hideous. Like I pooped all in them. Trev saw Guardians of the Galaxy yesterday. So now you can go watch, or you can go listen to 22's Comically Comics podcast, because he's got the Guardians spoilers. I can't listen to it yet. Last week's episode.
I did watch it, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Was it good?
The review. It was really good. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It's the first one of this podcast I listened to, and it was great. So.
I think he's got a good little setup there. I think that the 3 voices he's got for his show, and I can't think of the guys' names right now. Like, I think each one fits into the pie, into the pizza, all your ingredients. I think they work perfectly. Because it's like you got your 2 nerds that know more, and then you got your third guy who, like, they always go to, and they don't expect him to know anything. Then he pretends he does, but then he doesn't. Like, it's perfect. Like, I think he's got a good setup there. That's why I enjoy listening to his podcast. Like, it's made my podcast rotation.
Yes.
With that said, I don't listen to podcasts all the time, but I do enjoy his show. And 22's got the voice for it. He's got a radio voice.
Yeah, for sure.
Trev says the first few weeks my shorts were horrid, but stick with it. Keep a schedule. If it doesn't work, then change time. Stay consistent and find your spot. I agree with that, because if I go a few days or a week without releasing a short and then I pop one in there, it's not going to have many views. The time wise, I've had success doing it in the morning. Then I've had success where I did it in the middle of the night. So I can't speak on the time, but I do agree with the idea of stay consistent.
Yep.
Stay consistent for yourself. What's an easy time for you to film to record a short and release it? Talk Fantastic Four casting rumors. James Gunn casting for Superman. Writer strike effects. It was pretty fun, if I do say so myself. So that's his newest episode. It's going to be talking about Fantastic Four casting rumors. James Gunn casting for Superman. Writer strike effects, and it was pretty fun, if he does say so myself. Which is good, because if you have a guy who has his own podcast and he's not he's not promoting his own stuff, then yeah, I'm going commando. But no, then why would you want to listen to it? E-Man's World of Geek says, if late night is all I can do, then dang it, I guess I'm going to focus on a sexy Friday night sultry comic talk show. It's all comics, but with sexy lo-fi music in the background and a sultry delivery.
There you go. That's a show that needs to come on.
And Neil, again, with a bulge comment. Fanboy is comparing his bulge with Riddles. That's why he's in his undies. Oh, no, wait. I highlighted that one, and I came back to it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm 13 minutes behind the chat, so let's see. E-Man, that is good. I'm off on Friday night, so I'm going to have to try to make the show. Manny says, I'm on the train for 3 hours most of the week, so it allows me to plan content and pick out comic panels, pages, covers, editing, zero skills. No, I think you're a good editor, Manny. Yes. Bobby is in the chat. Bobby Catalano. Hopefully I said that right. A channel that I recently stumbled across, and I don't remember how exactly, but some fantastic art that I've seen come from Bobby's page. Maybe on Instagram too. I'm not entirely sure. This weekend is all bleeding together, but I know stumbled across that channel this past weekend. Wellbore says, I watched Lanny Poffo and Randy Savage before I heard of WWF. Is that when they were in, was it Mid-South? I know there's some, I don't know if there was heat between him and Lawler. Him and Jerry Lawler, I know had some feuding. They did.
Yeah, there's supposed to be some great matches between Savage and Lawler. I have not watched them yet, but there's supposed to be some good ones.
E-Man's World of Geek says, 2 episodes ends and it could be something, 22. It's a side project, alter ego Raimundo Saratoga, giving you the sultry sounds of late night comic book. Man alive, this man, E-Man just sold me the show. Like, I want to go check it out now. I love the Raimundo Saratoga. All these dentists is off Saratoga in Corpus Christi. So yeah, I love the name. Bottom tier says, I just learned recently the genius was Macho Man's real life brother. We talked about it last week on the show, bottom tier. Oh wait, he left early, so shame on you, bottom tier. You didn't go watch the replay. I'm kidding. I don't care if you watch the replay or not. I'm kidding. I gotta be careful. I'm gonna get myself in trouble because I do run my mouth. 22 says, I don't even know what the genius is. Oh, it's the most fantastic wrestler you'll ever see. You'll see it. You will see it in my community tab. I'm lost too, Mr. 22.
He was like 2 gimmicks in one. From watching that match, it seemed like he was the genius gimmick, the scholarly gimmick, but then the over-the-top, flamboyant, eccentric gimmick. You know, like two good gimmicks like combined there. But I don't know, the beating of the eyelashes just, I don't know what. It was like a deer in headlights every time he did that. I'm like, what? Oh, man.
Neil Collect says he's lost. So thank you, Neil. You're still here in my chat and you're lost. You have no idea what me and David are talking about. And you're still here to support. I appreciate it. 22 counters with, what do you think the genius's bulge resembles, Neil? So Neil says, never seen his bulge, so I don't know. So this is the official bulge chat. Come to think of it, I've never seen Riddles.
You'll find it. You don't have to look very far right now on the internet to find it. You will find it.
I love that Super Jobber, the librarian, or whatever his name was, AEW had to start. Oh, yes, you know, that kind of is along the lines of the same gimmick. I know who you're talking about. Now I can't think of his name. I believe he used to wrestle a lot in championship wrestling from Hollywood. What was that?
Was it Peter Avalon, the librarian? Peter Avalon.
Yes, that's exactly who it was. That's exactly who it was.
And he had Leva Bates with him. They were both the librarian gimmicks.
Could be like a bag of peanuts, all bumpy. Six Face says, dude, cannabis has gone insane in Central Oregon. I found a store with $29 ounces.
Nice.
And then Sid also says the 1500 short he did has no hashtags. I don't know, is $29 expensive or not expensive? I don't do that, so I have no idea. Trev agrees with me. Hashtags don't matter much on YouTube. I read somewhere or watched a video where they said don't put hashtags in your video because that's against YouTube's whatever. So I don't even know how to. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how I built the following of that I have. The 57 that have consistently watched my videos like man alive. That's fantastic. The 300 and whatever subs, I think 347. Like man alive, awesome. A lot of that's shorts though. So do they stick around? I don't know. But it's like Manny says, some people constantly watch your videos, they just don't comment and stuff like that. Right. So awesome. Or 2 potatoes and a pair of stockings. See, look at this. Look at this. 22 and Neil. Spirit in the Sky gets me every time. Is that the song to play on a short? CapCut is a great mobile app for editing. Oh, okay. I have never heard of that. I went with what did I say? I went with Power Director, and that's just because that was what Super Russ recommended to me. Yeah, Neil says hashtags basically have roots.
iMovie on iPhone is what I use. So
iMovie?
Yeah, that's the only thing that I use.
But you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
Because that's an Apple product? Yeah.
iMovie works pretty good.
Neil Collect says hashtags basically help YouTube locate your videos on the search engine. I don't know. 22 Comics. I love Premiere Rush for editing shorts. Okay. I'm getting a lesson. And we're back to this. Potatoes and stockings. That makes my insides turn, Mr. 22. Bottom tier. Like Lil Uzi Vert or Da Baby. I'm so old when it comes to music. I thought Kendrick Lamar was relevant, but he's not millennial plus rap. See, like, I don't even know who you're talking about. Bottom tier. Glad y'all are enjoying the podcast. Warms my heart. Yes, I want to do I wanted to do a commercial for your podcast 22 before I did my top 5 covers video. Wound up being a family video, but I was going to kind of have an intro to the video that was basically going to be a commercial for your podcast. I'm not going to reveal it because I'm keeping it up here in the brain because I may just do it as a commercial before my live stream, or just I randomly during my live streams will play your commercial. So I'm going to keep that video in my head. That hopefully I'll put it out. Ollie keeps coming back to me with the Bigfoot video, and I do need to finish it. Yep. But I told him we're going to work on it this weekend, but we have family coming into town now, so it's going to get pushed back another weekend. Love that podcast 22. You got some buddies with brutally honest opinions.
Yep.
Neil Collect says, I've tried most of the mobile editing apps, and I find Filmora Go the best. I'll tell you what I don't like, Neil, which I don't know, what was it you were using for your live stream? Like, I still stick with StreamYard is the easiest thing to use. What is it? Something S, OPS, or OBS, something like that. It seems overly complicated. Sid says, I need to do a comics and politics segment, put some left back in these wings. 22 says, laugh out loud. Thanks, Bottom 2 Collector. They are fun to talk comic and comic book accessories with super fortunate to have them. Bottom tier says, Six Face, you sure you want to mix politics and comics with the social climate we have? Wellbore says, was Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling in Maritime, Canada? They had locals and brought in traveling wrestlers on a circuit back when I was little. I have never heard that. Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling in Maritime, Canada. But where are you located, Wellbore? I know that I received a package from Swish Rips. I won a card from him. I do need to do videos where I highlight that I got an AOK from Psychotronic Squirt Gun, an AOK video for Manny. Just another way that people, if they don't watch the stream, hey, like, Let me highlight this channel. Let me highlight this channel. And I need to do one for Swish Rips because I want something from him. I believe he came from Calgary, Alberta. So like, the Bret Hart fan in me, like, oh, like, oh, when Wellbore was a little kid. Neil Collect says eyelashes and bulges. Six Fate said at bottom, I have 122 followers and I'm sick of the fascists gaining ground every election cycle. Bottom tier says, I'm not a fan of many eccentric gimmicks. Goldust and Adrian Adonis leave me feeling awkward. I'm a huge Goldust fan.
Amazing. Oh my God.
Yes. Like,
I love Goldust.
Should have been world champion amazing.
Yep.
Trev says, no idea. Same, no idea what's going on. I'm listening. I'm sorry, man. Does this got to go back to being a comics-based podcast? Because
that's how I feel when there's football talk in a live stream.
Yeah, last week we were talking about sports, or one of those weeks when you talk about sports, you're like, I don't care about all this.
That's where I just smile.
Fanboy, you just want to be happy. Or Fanboy, you just want to be happy Lady Prime is not here still. I would be asking her about the bulge.
Oh, Neil.
I used to charge, Sid says he used to charge $300 to $400 an ounce for this quality stuff back in the day. Oh, okay, so man alive. I guess inflation isn't hitting the cannabis market. They say 10% of your subscriber base is usually your dedicated audience. Feels like 1% for me, but that's what you're shooting for. That's what you're shooting for. Trev says 10% seems about right. Yes. Neil Collects ask her about the dishes. I know how the dishes are bottom tier. They are soaking. Swish Rips is awesome. I love Swish Rips shorts. That guy puts effort into his shorts because I'm not doing some what is it, like the motion capture where he's making his toys move. Like, man, that just seems like hard work. So I appreciate that. Wellbore says he grew up in Nova Scotia but moved to Alberta when he was 23. Oh, okay. Oh, awesome. I can't say I know whereabouts you live, but I know of where you live. Neil Collects, hashtag always soaking, never washed. No, the dishes have been washed because I even let myself go to bed late yesterday washing the dishes. Neil Collects says Fanboy and Lady Pride think the dish soap will wash them if they left long enough. we let them soak until whatever paint is on the dishes comes off. Yep. Trev is laughing at something you said, and I can't even remember what he's laughing at.
I think it was about
when we talk about football. When we talk about football, yeah. Have y'all ever heard Scott Hall talk about the Goldust feud pitch? Awkward story. I have not.
There's some stuff that I have heard about it. So
he just didn't like that idea at all?
Yeah, like he was one of the people that were hesitant about working with Dustin as Goldust back then. So but I think that was a great feud. Razor versus Goldust was amazing.
Yeah, for sure. It's sad that Razor was on his way out of the company because I would have liked to see more of that. A great feud, I think, involving Goldust was Ahmed Johnson versus Goldust. And so the story is that Goldust was going to kiss Ahmed but keep his hand on top of him. But when cameras were rolling, he just went for the kiss. Well, it wasn't even really a kiss. It was the mouth-to-mouth, right? He was going to mouth-to-mouth resuscitate him. And so Ahmed got real mad in real life. And that part where he kind of like drives him through the door, there's a little bit of real aggression in there. So, but what a great feud. I think Ahmed Johnson, like, I wish he wasn't injury prone because I thought he was a great character. He's on par with the Ultimate Warrior. You can't really understand his promos. You don't know what he's saying, but the intensity's there. You can't help but like get pumped up about it.
Yeah, I love the Ahmed versus Farouk feud.
Does anyone watch
when the Nation was formed? Ahmed Johnson versus Farouk was fun. I enjoyed that.
I feel like we didn't get enough of Farouk the way we probably should have, because The Rock kind of took over that group and he became the star, and Ron Simmons kind of floundered for a while there. Good thing he wound up with the Acolytes with the APA. Once it became, the Acolytes were fine, but when it became the APA, The whole idea of playing cards backstage where they have the framed door that if you walked around it, they get upset, make you go outside and walk through the door. Like, great stuff. Great stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Neil Collect said, does anyone watch Hungry D? Her shorts are starting to become really professional. I'm like, wow. I haven't watched her shorts. I was watching her pretty consistently before she went away for a while. I think she had taken some time away from YouTube. Because the one video I remember of hers is the heart pizza she made for Valentine's Day. That was pretty awesome. It was going to be called the Battle of the Bulge. I moved out here to get rich in the oil field, still waiting after 27 years. Well, are you at least wealthy? We where I work, the small town where I work had a oil field boom back in 2014. The whole town just insane. It was RV parks everywhere in this little town that I worked at because they were, oil field boom. But with it came all kinds of drugs into it. Meth just grew exponentially. And because those guys are like working all the time, and it's they need an escape or they need something that keeps them awake, things like that. So prices skyrocketed for like apartments, housing skyrocketed in this little town. Now the oil field boom kind of went away in this little town maybe 5 years ago. We used to see them every day in the store where I work at 4:00 in the morning, or where I worked at the time at 4:00 in the morning. They were in there, and that's all gone away. All the RV parks are gone, but the rent and housing is still as expensive as it was. So it's like once you get to that price point, they're never going to bring it down, and it's crazy. It's crazy. Vince apparently wanted to tell Scott about his first time with the Met. Wow.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Okay. Yeah. A short about Spider-Man's J-Lo butt and Eddie Brock helping Aunt May with laundry are the most viewed. Crazy. They do draw Spider-Man with some cake, don't they? They draw him with some great rear end. I guess it's because he's so athletic, right? Bottom tier says 22 comics. Why couldn't you have marketed that match? I'm always overlooked, bottom tier collector. Yes, Neil, I call her Candy D. That's an appropriate name. 22 comments. You had the comment of the day. Wellbore says, not wealthy, comfortable. There you go. Comfortable is good. 2014 killed Canadian oil. We mostly import to the U.S., so when America boomed, Canada died. Haven't recovered yet. Gotcha. Oh, man alive.
And
Well, what you got going on this week, David?
This week, let's see.
What's that?
This week, I've got a video that I'm going to do tomorrow. The wife and I went to go see Fast X on Saturday, and it was awesome. And I got a bunch of Fast X collectible trading cards to go through, so I'm going to show those off. So I can't wait to show those off. So, including little 2 packs to open.
I will have a haul video possibly today or tomorrow. I don't know. Well, maybe I'll release it on Thursday because I'll do Lady Prime's Tuesday video. So yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Remember when the last time everyone thought housing prices couldn't fall? I do. It was early 2008. Well, I remember that because all the comic book stores in San Antonio that I used to visit shut down when the recession hit. Poor Aunt May villain's always trying to plow her. Yo, yeah, 2008 was a bust too. McFarlane started trend. He went Oprah with the booties. He even gave Venom a peach.
Oh my. Yeah.
Neil Collect says, back to wrestling. How many plus-size female wrestlers? I've seen 1 or 2. They are all hot females that are bulgeless. I don't have a problem with Alexa Bliss. She's not in this discussion. Wait, so the plus-size females are hot, or is he saying all the women wrestlers are hot, and then there's plus-size lady wrestlers?
I'm not sure, but Neil, I want you to go and watch YouTube matches with Bertha Faye. Okay, go watch Bertha Faye matches. Go watch. Oh my God. Bull Nakano. Bull Nakano is really awesome.
So crazy. When Bull Nakano was in her wrestling days, She was a big, thick woman.
Yep.
But I've seen current pictures of her nowadays, and she's skinny, scrawny. Like
Does
she,
not look the same at all.
yes, like completely different. It's crazy. It's crazy. Um, you had Nia Jax would be a bigger one. Piper Niven,
Mm-hmm.
which I hated when they called her Dewdrop.
Yeah.
Thought
Yeah,
that
that
was
was
terrible.
stupid.
Yeah,
Asia
there you
Kong.
go. Bottom tier is pointing out Nyla Rose.
Yep.
Was
What
it
was her
Awesome
name?
Kong in TNA?
Awesome Kong. Yep. And then there was also one Asia Kong.
Yes, yes.
Yep.
Awesome Kong was awesome when she was having that feud with Gail Kim.
Yep.
Like TNA should have at that time run with ladies wrestling because that Gail Kim versus Awesome Kong, those matches were amazing, and that's what their show was known for. They should have just full on run with it instead of trying to be WWE light. Whenever Hogan got there and made a whole bunch of changes.
I agree.
Tito the Alien, what's up, Tito? Trev, China wasn't pretty. Oh, man alive. 22 comics. That's what happens when you start hitting the booga sugar. So I went about 38 years of my life without hearing the phrase booga sugar. And the first time I heard it, I could not stop laughing. I had a case of the giggles. I could not stop laughing. And it was because one of my coworkers was accusing another coworker of hitting the booger sugar. And I was just like, what? That's fantastic.
Wow.
Oh, man alive. Six Face, bottom tier collector. That is the lie that capitalist robber barons have fed us while they rape our country. I'm not sure what I. Oh.
Oh.
Not 22. Bottom tier. I had to put that. Okay. Let me see this. All right, slide that down. Okay. Chris Jericho talking about China's push is an eyebrow raiser. Yeah, read Chris Jericho's book, and he was not a fan of China, it seems like.
Not a lot of people were, apparently.
Do you remember whenever China and Bob Holly held the was it Bob Holly in China, or was it Jericho?
Yeah,
Jericho in China?
It was China and Jericho co-intercontinental champions, yeah.
Just stupid random things that
Yep.
each to their own, bottom tier. But Nyla Rose, that's all I'm saying. David will get angry as I say too much.
Wait,
okay. Neil collects, I guess he was gonna say too much, I guess, about Nyla Rose. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not sure. Oh, all right. I got about an hour and a half in. You got anything else you want to talk about? I know I kind of cut you off. I'm sorry.
No,
he said something in the chat.
It's your show.
So you're doing the Fast X collectibles. You got cards.
Fast X cards. Like I'll show. Let me see. Here's one of them.
Where did you get Fast X cards at?
From AMC when we went to go see Fast X on Saturday.
So, they were handing them out, or you had to purchase these?
Nope, they were handing them out. So I got two sets. There's two sets that were already open. And then there's two packs that I got because apparently the Vin Diesel and the Jason Momoa cards are extremely hard to find. So
all right.
Those are the only two that I don't have, but hopefully they're in these packs. So we'll be opening those probably tomorrow. So
sweet. Good luck with that. So Jason Momoa is the new actor they add to this movie. I feel like they add like a big name to every new one that comes out.
Well, without spoiling anything, he is the new villain. And he is awesome. Like you have not seen Jason Momoa in this kind of role. Very Joker-esque, I'd have to say. And kind of like Seth Rollins too, I would say. At one point, he's very charismatic to the point where, okay, this guy could lead anybody anywhere. And then, like, I believe what he's saying. And then he'll turn pure evil right at the drop of a hat. It's awesome.
Can I go into Fast X without having seen any of the other ones?
Yeah,
Or do I need
oh
to?
man. Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
The I've seen parts of like the first four movies. I've never sat through one from beginning to end. I did watch Hobbs and Shaw though, and I enjoyed that movie. But
Okay.
Hobbs and Shaw was a spinoff, so it was meant to be on its own, right?
Right. Okay. Which one? I think it was 5. Whichever one where they broke the safe out and drove down the highway over the bridge and the safe behind one of the cars. You know what I mean? Um, that's either 5 or 6. I can't remember which one. If you've seen all the way up to that point, you're good.
Yeah, I haven't seen. No.
So, okay.
I remember, I don't know if it was like this where y'all live, but like when those movies came out, like San Antonio was like everybody was a race car driver on the streets of San Antonio.
Yep.
And I'm sure it was the same, but yeah, I was glad when that phase kind of died off because a lot of overpasses in San Antonio, and you hear the echoing and everything. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nope, he said.
You got to know some of the backstory.
Gotcha. Because I'm gonna find out all these family members. Like I know that meme, for family.
It is about family.
Oh, man alive. Well, definite rice burner movement from those movies. Yes, yes, yes. Sorry, scratching my nose. Well, I'm gonna call it a show,
Okay.
a stream, if you will. I can't call it a show. We have no format, no formula. But I'm gonna call it a stream. I need to try to catch a nap, and I need to try to make myself some lunch.
All right.
David, thank you for being my tag team partner in this.
No
I thought
problem.
about starting the video. I thought about starting the video by myself for a little bit, and then hot tagging you in.
That would be cool. Yeah, that's a cool format. That would work. So
But yeah, we just came out. We came out together with this intro. So I want to do it at some point where we have entrance music and we make our way to the ring, where someone calls us in to the ring. But I appreciate you being here, David. It's fun to chat wrestling, even though no one in the chat appreciates it. Who was that cat that was here last week? Was his name Andy?
yeah, I think it was Andy.
Yeah, I needed Andy here because he knew his wrestling. It seems that bottom tier and bulges is what is what the chat knew about wrestling today.
Well, we got to get
Fanboy invited me a week ago, but I don't think it still stands. No, Neil, you want to jump into my live stream? Jump in on Saturday morning, or you want to jump in on Monday? Let me know. I didn't invite you or put it out this week because I thought you were still going through your sabbatical from YouTube. But you want to jump on? Let me know. Well, Bor, I appreciate you being here. 22 Comics, appreciate you being here. Manny, the Hobgoblin Collector, appreciate you being here. Well, 22, you want in on it or what? Man, you guys got to let me know. Let me know. I haven't asked because I don't want people to say no because I'm tired of Volunteer Collector telling me no. I offered my slot, and I just said that there's no one owns a time slot, but I told Volunteer, hey, are you going to fill in my week? Are you going to fill in my slot Saturday morning because I didn't want no one else to take it? And then he messaged me. He's like, man, you're really pushing for me to do live streams. He's like, I kind of like it. I guess, I'm encouraging him or whatever. But then he gave me this whole spiel about everything he's worried about on a live stream. And I get it because, like, those are all my worries, too. So Neil Collects is off all week. All right. Yeah, 22 is laughing because, and that's the only reason why I'm really, really doing this right now, kind of building heat with bottom tier is because 22 enjoys it. So that's the only reason I'm really doing it right now.
Awesome. Yeah, and if anybody wants to jump in on like my Saturday early morning live stream, let me know. If you there's a better time during the week, Tuesday through Saturday, to do a live stream early in the morning, I'm game. So just let me know. I'll be more than happy to do it. So
Volunteer, I agree. I have to get our anticipated three-way chat in before my wife and son are finally done with school and work for the summer. Yes. And I said it could be at the end of your WrestleMania series, but I mean, if it needs to happen sooner, that's fine, because I have some issues with your WrestleMania 7 review, and I need to go watch this WrestleMania 8 review. So, but thank you guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys sitting through stuff, even though you say you're lost. I hope we are still entertaining, though. I'm on steroids trying to fix my bulge. Actually, that would hurt your bulge, wouldn't it?
oh my God.
So I appreciate everyone being here. And as always, I didn't. Sid was here. Jay was here. Super Russ was here earlier. So I'm sure I forgot some other names. Tito the Alien was here. E-Man was here a whole bunch. So
yes,
definitely appreciate. Oh, Bobby was here. If I forgot to say your name, it was not intentional. It's just I'm looking at this chat. Mike was here. Alex Big Blue was here. 25 Perez was here. Fantastic. Brian LCS was here. So man, we had a lot of people in the chat today. Appreciate everybody being here. As always, Ollie James is going to send you guys out. So
thank you so much.
Say thank you for watching. Subscribe.
Bye.
Say
Bye. See you next time.